Who exactly is Il Capitano? Where does he come from? What's his deal? I think I might have a good inclination of where this guy comes from. But in order to understand that, and I'm not trying to self-promote here, but if you watch my last video talking about the Pyro Archon and its reincarnation, it will be so much easier to understand this video since a lot of those talking points are going to be relevant in this video. I will give a brief explanation in this video, but it will make this video make way more sense. Again, I'm not trying to just self-promote my own stuff, it's just that I don't want to repeat 10 minutes worth of information and really bloat this out, because I really want to focus on the captain himself. If he's actually from Natlan, is that his homeland and region? Which I think most things point towards yes. Our voice lines with Varka, him actually being the main Harbinger already in Natlan confirmed, there's no denying it. And most main Harbingers are from that region. Okay, shut up Tartaglia, no one's looking at you. But let's talk about what we know about the captain. For sure, before we start to speculate. He has a reputation for being able to challenge and, well, I'm assuming because he's still alive, defeat gods. Now, he got that reputation from somewhere. He didn't just get it out of nowhere. And everybody unanimously gives this guy clout whenever they can. Everyone.
He is very powerful. And that power comes with a high level of responsibility. However, I believe him to be someone worthy of respect, independent of the power he holds.
The ever-righteous captain. The brave and fearless captain. The nigh-invincible captain. Even my mechanical ears demand maintenance after listening to so many compliments from the members of the Fatui. Don't you think that possessing absolute righteousness is actually a latent danger? And that's without taking his great personal strength into account.
I've seen him in battle before, and oh, what a sight it was. Perhaps I'm ranked too low for him to notice me right now. Well, he may not recognize my strengths yet, but one day, I'll show him what I'm made of.
We've received an unexpected visitor. The Fatui Harbinger known as the Captain. The man hides everything under the mask he wears, so no one can know his past or his origins. However, one thing is for sure. He is as hard as iron for having the courage to challenge gods as an ordinary mortal. I don't doubt that he could even take out a ruin guard by stabbing it in its big, glowing eye with one of Klee's crayons. He'll be able to sleep much better now that we don't need to worry about him anymore.
And Child actually says he's seen him in combat with his own eyes. So for all the people that say that the captain is a fraud, I know that goes along with his Italian theater group, which all the Fatui Harbingers are based off of, but that's just a general basis. So I think that's debunked with Child's voice line. Most of the Harbingers are either associated or an ancient being of some sort, and his goals must align with the Fatui quite well, especially if he's the first and strongest Harbinger, overthrowing Celestia and seizing authority from the gods. A man that can challenge God literally fits like a glove in this organization. I mean, come on. If he's the first Harbinger, besides the director himself, Piero, Capitano would be like the leader in the field. He'd be the go-to guy. Piero would be like the head coach of the team, and the captain would be, well, the captain. He is said to have a ton of honor, dignity, and ever-righteous, as Scaramouche tells us. Now, to recap my last video talking about the Pyro Archon, what I think actually is going down here, and a brief explanation of it, is we were shown that she can turn into a phoenix. Phoenixes are known to be able to self-explode when they die, they turn to ash, and they are reborn. They have a reincarnation cycle. Hence the teaser of Incandescent of Resurrection for Natlan in the trailer. And this resurrection process took place at a location named the Mara Javare, which is known to be hell in Tevad. Ash, fire, flame, the most harsh conditions you can imagine. I'm assuming that the previous Pyro Archon died here, or was resurrected here. The great phoenix died, and from the ashes the new one was born, the one we see in the trailer. And much like the Hydro Archon Egeria, when she died, the environment changes when this happens. But only with the Pyro Archon, the circumstance is a little unique because it's a reincarnation process. Now, how did this actually happen? That's what I want to talk about. Again, I explained that so much better in my other video, it'll make so much more sense, but as for the captain, I think his roots tie to Natlan in a much greater way than we realize. It is important to note that Vanessa's tribe fled Natlan over 1,000 years ago for some unknown reason and then lived as nomads for generations. Why would you flee the safety of your own homeland if it could be dangerous? Well, I think the war in Natlan and the environment was a very hostile place. Tribes did not get along, and the war was much different than we know today with the tournament. But conveniently, around the same time frame as Vanessa's family fleeing, there was a legendary, renowned, battle-hardened warrior named Tenno, who didn't belong to any of the tribes, and he was able to get the tribes to work together and actually recruit a member from each tribe to quell and fight against a calamity or foe that threatened Natlan. So clearly, each tribe outside of Vanessa's own tribe, they all wanted the war to stop too in the fighting. So I think it's safe to make the assumption that not just Vanessa's tribe was sick of the fighting, the rest of them seemed to be sick of the war and fighting as well. I'm assuming if they were all able to work together, they obviously had a common goal under Tenno's leadership. And get this hero Tenno was said to be a Giga Chad dude that wielded a giant obsidian club. Yeah, I know, you know where I'm going with this, but just play along for now. So then this legendary Natlan war hero, Tenno, and the tribe's members from each tribe he banded together went and fought a great battle. This vague foe that threatened Natlan. And it's heavily implied that he died a heroic death during this fight in the final battle, being successful in the mission, or whatever they were trying to accomplish. Now, obviously you know where I'm going with this. What I'm suggesting is Tenno killed or defeated the Pyro Archon, and this caused the old Archon to die in a giant combustion like a phoenix, causing the creation of this place, and the rebirth of the current Pyro Archon out of the ashes, because it's literally stated that many years after this whole conflict, adventurers actually seen a phoenix that dwelled deep within this hostile region. I'm assuming that's the birth of our current Archon. Now, even though this historic character died in this conflict, he was a renowned warrior during his time. In his earlier days, he was even expelled from his own tribe because he loved fighting so much, but everyone had nothing but respect for him. It is even said that Tenno even fought giants and won. He is also described to be missing an eye, have many scars and wounds all across his face and body, and is a middle-aged man, the lone warrior. So obviously I'm suggesting that this is Capitano, the captain. They're both talked about similarly, and when I hear about Tenno defeating giants, it sounds a lot like when Varka said Capitano could kill a ruin guard with Klee's crayons. I don't know, it gives me the same vibes. Clearly I think they're the same being. Capitano got a reputation from defeating gods, and that didn't come out of nowhere. He had to get that reputation by killing or defeating gods. And him leading the Fatui Harbingers as the first Harbinger and the captain of the Harbingers is a lot like him being the leader in recruiting these tribesmen to save Natlan from its constant war under their previous Archon. Possibly. And maybe that's the reason Vanessa's clan left in the first place. He saved Natlan from the constant war and strife, and died in the process, allegedly. But if he did die during this conflict, how is he still alive? And would the reincarnated Archon recognize him or remember this? It's hard to say, but there's a few scenarios that could play out here. The first being, he didn't actually die. We think he did, but maybe he got burned really badly. He was already scarred to begin with, but maybe his face got burned and he already was missing an eye. Or perhaps that's why he actually covers his whole body and face. The second option is, perhaps he was also resurrected with the primordial flame, being the first mortal to ever defeat an Archon, gaining that title, and earning his right to deserve to live again. As a historical figure and renowned warrior, the Harbingers knew he would be such an important piece to their puzzle, a legendary warrior that is said to kill the old Pyro Archon. Why wouldn't you want to recruit this guy and resurrect him? Maybe that's where the primordial flame comes into play, because it was already suggested in the trailer that the winner of this tournament probably gets the primordial flame. Maybe this is how you resurrect somebody. And now Tenno has risen from death to live once again and fight a new battle and be a new leader of a different tribe, the Fatui Harbingers, the most renowned group in the entire world in today's game and age. Gotta admit, it does make a lot of sense. But why would the captain want to enter the tournament? What does he have to gain? Why would he want the primordial flame? I don't know for certain that that flame's used to resurrect. Maybe the old Archon resurrected him out of pure respect for defeating it. Because I don't know if the primordial fire is what resurrects individuals. Maybe it's something else in Natlan. But something else that the developers already told us will happen in Natlan's story between 5.0 and 6.0. What would the Fatui need with this fire? potentially. I'm sure you all could guess. Something that was foreshadowed a long time ago. I am still convinced. The burning of Irminsul. If Pyro and the Harbingers want to seize authority from the gods, they cannot do this until this tree burns. It is a threat and an obstacle in their path, and perhaps this is the route they take to do it. But that's just my theory. Maybe burning Irminsul is Project Stuja, or whatever they do with the remains of the third Descender once the captain gets the last Gnosis. Again, we're not exactly sure how the tournament's gonna play out, but that is who I think the captain is. I think it's obviously heavily suggested that he's from Natlan, and who better than the legendary warrior Tenno, who is said to have very similar character traits to the captain. People talk about them both the same, and he died being a hero saving the nation, but we don't know what he saved it from. This is what I'm suggesting, but definitely let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think I'm onto something? Do you think I'm out in left field? Or do you think there's some half-truths here? I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say, but I do appreciate y'all watching this far. Please like and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this. I'm so excited for Natlan. I can't believe we're only a patch away. Start saving up those Primo Gems now, because guess what? If leaks are said to be true and they're unanimous at this point, our boy's going to be playable. Get excited for that. And as always, we will see you all in the next one. Later.